Alright, let us start our today's class, and in today's video we are going to start chapter 2 of standard 9 science. Is matter around us pure? Alright, in first unit we have gone through 4 videos, so please watch those videos for better understandings. Fine. Is matter around us pure? Means how can we know that whatever the things which we see is pure or impure? Pure means there isn't any kind of mixture in that, or there isn't any kind of secondary things in any material. Okay, like in figure 2.1 you can see salt, pure ghee, pure milk. Okay, the salt which we use in our home, in our kitchen. Okay, the pure ghee which we buy from market, and milk packets which we buy, okay, whether they are pure or not. Okay, you will be amazed to know that most of the things which we buy from market are impure. Then in this chapter we will try to find out what is the definition of purity, how can we say that a material is pure, and then what are the combinations of things called. Alright, how do we judge whether milk, ghee, butter, salt, spices, mineral water or juice that we buy from the market are pure? Means it is of same thing. Okay, when we say orange juice, whether it is only orange juice or something else is mixed. Okay, when you buy a packet of orange juice or a bottle of orange juice from market, it not contains only the orange juice, but it also contains coloring agents, then sugar, salt, emulsifiers, then preservatives and different types of acids, carbonated water, and a lot of other things. Have you ever noticed the word pure written on the packs of these consumables? Means when you buy these things, okay, which is mentioned here, milk, ghee, butter, okay, and most of the other things, have you seen that on the packet, on the wrapper, the word pure is written? What is the meaning of those things? Okay, here the word consumables means the things which we consume, okay, which we eat or which we use in any way. Fine. For a common person, pure means having no adulteration. Okay, whenever we say pure, it means that nothing has been added in that. Okay, it is made of only one substance. But for scientists, all these things are actually mixtures of different substances and hence not pure. But in the definition of science, like in the science world, in scientific world, we say that nothing around us is pure. Everything, there are some different types of mixtures. Okay, for example, milk is actually a mixture of water, fat, proteins, etc. Okay, because whether you take any animal's milk, okay, it contains water, it contains fat, it contains protein, it contains peptic acid and a lot of other things, caseins. Okay, that is why milk is also not a pure substance in the world of science. But when we buy milk from the milkman, okay, in our day-to-day life or in common sense we say it is pure if no water is, extra water is added in that. So you always have to think in two ways, whether the word pure we are using in our day-to-day life or whether we are using this word pure in scientific manner. Fine. When a scientist says that something is pure, it means that all the constituent particles of that substance are the same in their chemical nature. Means it is made of only one type of substance. Okay, that is what scientists mean when they say pure. A pure substance consists of a single type of particles. Okay, when scientists say a pure substance, that means it contains only one type of particle throughout, not any other combination. In other words, a substance which is pure single form of matter is called as pure thing according to scientists in the language of science. As we look around, we can see that most of the matter around us exists as mixtures of two or more pure components. For example, seawater, minerals, soil, etc. are mixtures. In seawater we have water and we have salt of different elements. Okay, there are many minerals. When we say soil, it is also the mixture of a lot of minerals, elements and other things. Okay, now coming to mixture, section 2.1. What is the meaning of mixture? Let us see. Okay, mixtures are constituted by more than one kind of pure matter, pure form of matter. Okay, it is the scientific definition of matter that it is constituted of one or more kind of pure form of matter. Okay, we know that dissolved sodium chloride can be separated from water by physical process of evaporation. Means if suppose in a beaker there is water and you mix and you dissolve salt in that, if you want to remove salt or separate salt from that combination of water and salt, okay, the only thing which you have to do is you have to evaporate the water. To just heat the solution, water will evaporate and in the beaker you will get only salt. However, sodium chloride is itself a pure substance and cannot be separated by physical process into its chemical constituents. Okay, so when we say only the common salt like NaCl, sodium chloride, okay, it is a pure substance and we cannot separate sodium and chlorine from the combination of sodium chloride. Okay, similarly when we say sugar, the chemical formula of sugar is C12H22O11. okay, so in one molecule of sugar there are 12 atoms of carbon, 22 atoms of hydrogen and 11 atoms of oxygen, but combined together they form only one type of molecule. Okay, sugar is a substance which contains only one kind of pure matter and its composition is same throughout. Okay, so when you have a vessel or when you have a bag of sugar, it contains only one type of composition throughout it, so it is called as pure. Soft drink on the other hand and swag are not single pure substances, because soft drink is a mixture of a lot of different components, as I have said earlier, and likewise for swag also. Whatever the source of a pure substance may be, it will always have the same characteristic properties. Okay, so whenever we have a pure substance, its properties will be same everywhere, or you can say throughout its properties will be same, throughout its characteristics will be same. Okay, therefore we can say that a mixture contains more than one pure substance. Okay, in scientific way, pure substance is the substance which contains only one type of matter, but mixture are those substances which contains more than one substances of matter or one or more pure substances. Now there comes types of mixture. Okay, what are the different types of mixture? We will see here with the help of activity. Depending upon the nature of the components that form a mixture, we have different types of mixtures. Okay, means how the components are mixed and what are the components mixed, we have different types of mixtures. Let us do activity 2.1 to understand these things clearly. Let us divide three class into groups A, B, C and D. Okay, so the class is divided into four groups A, B, C and D. Group A takes a beaker containing 50 milliliter of water and one spatula full of copper sulfate powder. Okay, so in the group of A students, they have 50 ml of water and a spatula which contains copper sulfate, CuSO4. Group B takes 50 ml of water and two spatula full of copper sulfate powder in a beaker. Okay, means group B has copper sulfate twice than that of group A. Group C and group D can take different amount of copper sulfate and potassium permanganate or common salt if copper sulfate or potassium permanganate are not available, and mix the given component to form a mixture. Okay, report the observation on the uniformity in color and texture. Okay, you will see that in group A they will get some color, the color of water will change, but the group B they will have deeper color of water than group A. Group A and B have obtained a mixture has a uniform composition throughout. Okay, even though they have different shadows of same color, the components of the composition are same. Water and we have copper sulfate solution. Such mixtures are called homogeneous mixtures or solutions. Okay, so those mixtures whose components are homogeneous are called as homogeneous mixtures or solutions. Some other examples of such mixtures are like salt dissolved in water and sugar dissolved in water. Okay, because when you taste a glass of sugar and water and sugar, okay, you will feel, okay, or you will taste that the sweetness of water is same in the every drop. Okay, so that is called as homogeneous mixture of water or homogeneous mixture. Simply compare the color of the solutions of the two groups. Okay, though both the groups have obtained copper sulfate solution, but the intensity of color of solutions is different. Okay, means the first one will have shallow color and the second, the group B, will have the deeper color. This shows that a homogeneous mixture can have a variable compositions. Okay, a homogeneous mixture may have homogeneous components, but it may or may not have a homogeneous composition. Sorry. Okay, fine. Group C and Group D have obtained mixtures which contain physically distinct parts and have non-uniform compositions. Okay, so non-uniform compositions means it can be easily visible that at which place which type of constitution or constituents particles are higher and lesser. Okay, and we can separate them with simple processes. Such mixtures are called as heterogeneous mixtures. Mixtures of sodium chloride and iron filings, salt and sulfur, and oil and water are example of heterogeneous mixtures because their content and compositions are different at different positions. Okay, now coming to activity 2.2, I hope you have understood activity 1.1. What is the matter has been delivered here. Let us again divide the class into 4 groups A, B, C and D. Okay, distribute the following samples to each group. What are things they have to get? Few crystals of copper sulfate to group A, means group A has got few crystals of copper sulfate. Okay, crystal means it will be like sand or salt. Okay, or some bigger particles than sand, or you can say small pebbles. One spatula full of copper sulfate to group B. Okay, group B has got one spatula of copper sulfate. First one has got crystal of copper sulfate and second one has got copper sulfate from a spatula. That means it is in powder form. Chalk powder or wheat flour to group C, and group D have gotten milk or ink. Fine. Each group should add the given sample in water and stir properly using a glass rod. What will happen then? Okay, you will see that the copper sulfate or crystals of copper, okay, they dissolve lesser than the powder of copper sulfate. Okay, then wheat flour or chalk powder will rarely dissolve in water. Okay, perfectly. Are the particles in the mixture visible? Okay, so here in group A, B, C and D, when they dissolve their things in the water, can we see those things? Okay, clearly. Direct a beam of light from a torch through the beaker containing the mixture and observe the front. Okay, here you have to see the light front in after falling on the water, how the light behaves. You have to find it out. Was the path of beam of light visible? Means can you see how the light is passing through the water? Okay, if you can't see that the light is passing inside the water or inside the solution, what is your observation there? Leave the mixture undisturbed for a few minutes and set up the filtration apparatus in the meantime. Okay, is the mixture stable or do the particles begin to settle after some time? Means is the particles, okay, is homogeneous throughout the composition, throughout the mixture, or whether after some time they start settling down. Filter the mixture now. Is there any residue on the filter paper? Means with the help of filter paper, when we filter the solution, Is there any residue left behind on the filter paper? Discuss the result and form an opinion about your observations, about your results. Group A and Group B have got a solution. Group C has got a suspension and Group D has got a colloidal solution. So here three different things we have got: solution, then suspension, and then colloidal solution. So let us see what are the differences in these terms. Okay. Now we shall learn about solutions, suspensions, and colloidal solutions in the following sections. Okay. Section 2.2. What is a solution? A solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Okay. Homogeneous means the substances will be dissolved throughout in definite proportion everywhere. Okay. You come across various types of solutions in your daily life. Lemonade, water soda, etc. are all examples of solutions. Okay, you might have drank lemonade. Okay, then you might have drank lemon soda or any other kind of juices. Okay, they are homogeneous solutions. Usually, we think of a solution as a liquid that contains either a solid, a liquid, or a gas dissolved in it. Okay, whenever in our general term, when we say about solution, we always think that a liquid is mixed in another liquid, or a solid is dissolved in a liquid, or a gas is dissolved in a liquid. But is it only the case in solutions? Can't be dissolved two solids or more than two solids together? Can't be dissolved or can't be mixed two or more than two gases together? Isn't it possible to mix solid and gas together, or liquid or gas together? Let me check these things. But we can also have solid solutions, alloys, and gaseous solutions like air. Alloys are mixture of two or more than two elements. So there we can say that they are solution of solid into solid. Likewise, gaseous solutions, air, it is the solution of air into air. Okay. In a solution, there is homogeneity at the particle level. For example, lemonade tastes the same throughout. Okay, that means it is homogeneously dissolved everywhere. Okay, throughout every drop of the drink. This shows that particles of sugar or salt are evenly distributed in the solution. Okay, means their amount everywhere is exactly the same. Now, the word alloy, what does that mean? Alloys are mixtures of two or more metals, or metal and non-metal, and cannot be separated into their components by physical methods. Okay, like for example, duralumin is an alloy, but still an alloy is considered as a mixture because it shows its properties of its constituents and can have variable compositions. For example, brass is a mixture of approximately 30% zinc and 70% copper. Okay, so this is the definition of alloy. You might have remember this. Okay, this also has come to the previous classes, and again it will come to the next classes in huge depth. Fine. A solution has a solvent and a solute as its components. Okay, so whenever we say solution, whatever the type of solution it is, okay, it will have a solvent and a solute. Okay, the component of solution that dissolves the other component in it, okay, is called as solvent. Okay, usually in the solution, the thing which is present in higher amount is called as solvent. Okay, that is in case of sugar syrup. Okay, water is the solvent. Okay, and sugar will be the solute. Okay, the component of the solution that is dissolved in solvent, okay, or the thing which is present in lesser amount is called as solute. So now you are very well familiar with what is solute and what is solvent. Okay, in any solution, the thing which is available in higher amount is called as solvent, and the thing which is present in lesser amount is called as solute. Okay, some examples are given here. A solution of sugar in water is a solid in liquid solution because sugar is solid and water is liquid. So here sugar is solid and water is liquid. So here it is a solution of solid into liquid, and in this solution water is available in higher amount and sugar in lesser amount. So sugar is the solute and water is the solvent. Okay, a solution of iodine in alcohol known as tincture of iodine has iodine solid and the solute as the solute and alcohol liquid as the solvent, and it is used for disinfection of wounds. It hurts very badly when applied on the wounds. Then aerated drinks like soda water etc. are gas in liquid solution. Their carbon dioxide is mixed into water at very high pressure. These contain carbon dioxide as solute because it is available in lesser amount and water as solvent. Okay, here it is a combination or it is a mixture of gas into liquid. Likewise, air is a mixture of gas in gas. Okay, because huge different types of gases are present in air. Air is a homogeneous mixture of a number of gases. Its two main constituents are oxygen, which is at 21% by volume, and nitrogen at 78%. The other gases are present in very small traces, very small quantities. Okay, so here it is air is the example of solution of gases into gases. Okay, now we have understood these three words. They are what is the meaning of solution, then types of solution, then what is the meaning of suspension. Oh sorry, suspension. About suspension we haven't seen, we will see it further. Okay, now let us see properties of solution. Properties of a solution. A solution is a homogeneous mixture. Okay, we have seen the particles of a solution are smaller than 1 nanometer in diameter. Okay, 1 nanometer is very small. Okay, fine. So they cannot be seen by naked eyes. Okay, that means in the solution we cannot see the constituent particles. Okay, because of very small particle size, they do not scatter a beam of light passing through the solution. Okay, so the path of light is not visible in the solution. Means in earlier we have seen that when the torch was lit on the solution, okay, what has happened? If suppose you have a solution and you lit a torch in it, okay, you cannot see the path of light traveling inside it. Okay, the solute particles cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. Just as an example, from lemonade, if you filter it, you cannot separate water and sugar and salt from it. The solute particles do not settle down when left undisturbed. That is, solution is stable. Okay, sometimes it happens that if we dissolve liquid in and some other thing, and if we keep them undisturbed for a long time, okay, the bigger particles settle down. Okay, but in case of solution it doesn't happen. Okay, the combination of the solid and liquid or solid and gas or liquid and gas will be seen throughout the solution. All right, so this is all about solutions. Okay, in our next video we will start studying about section 2.2.1 concentration of solutions. Okay, till my next video, take care of yourself. Bye bye.